Hello, dear students. So, we were discussing the biological classification, and we had already talked about the brief introduction of this chapter, and we had discussed the two kingdom system of the classification, which was given by Carolus Linnaeus. Right? We also had discussed some features of the two kingdom system of the classification, where many organisms were placed into the kingdom Plantae and kingdom Animalia based on the various general characteristics, right? So usually if an organism is green or it is capable of synthesizing its own food, that means if it is doing the photosynthesis and if it is uh, not mobile, that means the autotrophic mode of nutrition. And at the cellular structure level, if the cell has a cell wall, then these two primary criteria were used to place that organism into the kingdom Plantae. And if the organism does not have these two features, then that organism was placed into the kingdom Animalia. So those details we already have discussed. I think that you have been enjoying and you have been uh, able to appreciate the beauty of different kinds of diverse organisms and how interesting it is to consider their different characteristics and then organize them into different groups or taxa or different kingdoms based on various similarities and differences, right? So now we will move further. Before going into the details of the five kingdom system of the classification. uh, Actually, when it was found that the two kingdom system of classification was inadequate, as we already have discussed in the last lecture. For example, we have seen that fungi, or if we say in singular, then we call it fungus, or in plural is fungi. So if you take a fungus, its mode of nutrition is not autotrophic, but it is having cell wall. So there was difficulty to place this organism into the two kingdom system. However, this uh, fungus or the group of the fungi, they all were included into the kingdom Plantae. Though people were knowing that this is very difficult, and the inadequacy of the two kingdom system classification was felt, and this disadvantage uh, became widely known that there are many organisms, because of huge diversity of the animal of the organisms which we already have appreciated in the first chapter. So because of this huge and great biological diversity which exists on earth, it became very difficult to have this two kingdom system going on and placing organisms into one or the another one. So eventually three kingdom system was proposed, and these fungi, they were separated into a third kingdom. Okay, so this is how third kingdom system came. Then another new kingdom was actually proposed, which included all the unicellular organisms, because we already have seen that these are the very unique characteristics, and these are very basic criteria for the organisms. The level of the cellular structure, that means the presence or absence of cell wall, is very crucial. Similarly, the nature of the cellular organization, that means if an organism is unicellular or if an organism is multicellular, this is also a very important criteria, very important characteristic feature which cannot be ignored simply. And it does not seem wise to place uh, unicellular and multicellular organisms together just because they both are photosynthetic, or they both are having some other uh, characteristic which is common, because this is a very fundamental feature to have the cellular organization or not. That is why all the unicellular organisms were actually separated into the four kingdom system of the classification under the group Protista, and eventually later on uh, another very famous scientist R.H. Whittaker in 1969. Okay, so this year is also important. 1969, R.H. Whittaker proposed five kingdom system classification, which is most accepted system and it is very prevalent even now. Okay, so another new group came which is called as Monera, and Monera kingdom includes all the prokaryotes. So this is how we have the five kingdoms: Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. Okay, so Whittaker actually described and gave characteristics of all these five kingdoms, and he placed large number of organisms into each of these kingdoms, and he became very famous person. And uh, this is a very important thing, and you must remember that five kingdom classification has these five kingdoms, and the name of the five kingdoms you must know, and it was proposed by R.H. Whittaker. Okay, so as you all already know that bacteria have cell wall. Some bacteria do photosynthesis, some other bacteria, rather most of the bacteria do not do photosynthesis. But in the two kingdom system of the classification, the bacteria were placed into the kingdom. Can you guess? Bacteria are mobile, right? And they may do photosynthesis or they may not do photosynthesis, but they are usually able to move around, and they have cell wall. Now can you guess? Can any of you decide where it should be placed? Bacteria were actually earlier placed into the kingdom Plantae based on the presence of the cell wall. Okay, in the two kingdom system. Similarly, blue green algae is actually a kind of bacteria. So blue green algae is, it seems like an algae. It can do photosynthesis. It is an autotrophic organism. However, it is a it is also called a cyanobacteria. However, it is not a eukaryotic organism. It is a prokaryote. It is similar to bacteria, and it is actually a kind of bacteria. Okay, so blue green algae is a photosynthetic bacteria. This was also included under the kingdom Plantae, and this has cell wall. This also does photosynthesis. So this organism, which is cyanobacteria, seems more appropriate and more fitted to the kingdom Plantae, right? Now if I tell you that the bacteria, whether it is a simple bacteria or it is a blue green algae, that means if it is a cyanobacteria, they both are not having the nucleus. That means they are not eukaryotic organisms, rather they are prokaryotic organisms. So as we already have seen that the presence or absence of the nucleus, just similar to the presence or absence of the cell wall, is also a very basic and fundamental characteristic of the organisms. So if an organism is not having the nucleus, if it is a prokaryote, it does not seem wise to place a prokaryote along with a eukaryote in the taxonomic classification. So where should the blue green algae be placed? Now it is doing the photosynthesis. Now it is able to synthesize its own food. It must not be placed in the kingdom Plantae, right? So where it has to be placed? It has to be placed along with the prokaryotes. Okay, so these are very important and very crucial things which you should understand, and if you understand once, then it is settled here for you. But if you don't understand these things properly, you will get more and more confused. And because these are very important examples, and they are often asked in the exams as well as in the competitions, so you must understand this properly and you should focus on this. Okay, similarly, as we have seen that fungi was earlier placed in the kingdom Plantae, and the mode of nutrition for the fungi is not autotrophic. Fungi cannot do photosynthesis. It does not synthesize its own food. What it does, usually the fungi are saprophytic or they are heterotrophic. That means uh, they they are saprophyte. That means they are decomposers. That means They will degrade the dead and decaying matter, and they will obtain their nutrition from that, and they will use that dead and decaying matter as food material. That is why they are called as saprophytes. And because of the presence of the cell wall, they were placed in the kingdom Plantae. However, when the detailed cellular structure was studied, it was found that the nature of the cell wall of the fungi is very different from the cell wall of the plants. Plants have the cell wall which is made up of the material which is called as, do anyone of you know? Plants have cell wall which is made up of cellulose. Okay, cellulose is a polysaccharide of the glucose. Okay, which we will study in more detail in the coming chapter of the biomolecules, where we will see the details of the different kinds of the molecules, and we will appreciate different kinds of the monomers or polymers, and we will see their structures, their chemical natures. All those things we will discuss over there. But here you should know that the cell wall of the plant is made up of this cellulose. However, the cell wall of the fungi is not made up of the cellulose, rather it is made up of another kind of the polymer which is called as chitin. Okay, chitin. This is pronounced as chitin. So fungi has the cell wall which is made up of the chitin, and it is also not doing photosynthesis, so it must be thrown out of the kingdom Plantae, right? So it was taken out of the kingdom Plantae. It was placed into a new kingdom which was called as kingdom Fungi. Okay. Similarly, mosses and ferns were also earlier placed into the kingdom Plantae. And as you all know that mosses are very soft plant-like organisms. They are very minute plants, and they are, if you have seen the mosses, I think you can figure out that they don't look like trees, or they are not having a very similar feature to the general plants which we are familiar. They don't have the highly differentiated tissues like woods or the xylem elements. They don't produce the flowers, they don't produce the uh, useful fruits which we are familiar with, right? However, they are very primitive plants, and mosses and ferns were placed into the kingdom Plantae, and R.H. Whitaker, who gave the five kingdom classification system, actually did not replace or did not take out the mosses and ferns out of the kingdom Plantae. Rather, mosses and ferns, they have the uh, features which are very similar to the other plants, except that they are very primitive, and they have the very primitive cellular organization. That means their tissue organization and their tissue differentiation, their cellular differentiation, those things are actually not very advanced, not very comparable with the higher plants. However, they were retained in the kingdom Plantae, in the five kingdom. So now we have discussed quite enough about the five kingdom system of the classification, and we have discussed each of these these organisms, these kinds of the organisms. So you should carefully note down these important points, and you should remember them. Now let us discuss few more points. So earlier in the two kingdom system of the classification, all the organisms which were doing photosynthesis were placed into the kingdom Plantae, right? So Spirogyra is actually a multicellular algae. So here I have underlined the name of the Spirogyra. Can any of you guess why I have underlined? If you remember, we had studied the binomial system of the classification, where we have seen that if you are writing uh, a, a binomial name or a scientific name of an organism, then you must underline separately the name of the genus as well as name of the species, right? So Spirogyra is the species. Oh, sorry, it is the name of the genus. Okay, so I have to underline it because it is a scientific name. So Spirogyra is a multicellular algae. Chlamydomonas is a unicellular algae, and Chlorella is also a unicellular algae. However, they all were placed into the kingdom Plantae in the binomial system. In the two kingdom system. But can you guess where these were placed into the five kingdom system? In the five kingdom system, what happened that unicellular organisms were separated from the multicellular organisms. All the unicellular organisms were placed into the kingdom Protista. We already have seen, right? So now these unicellular, that means Chlamydomonas and Chlorella, because they are unicellular, they were separated from the kingdom Plantae. They were separated from the Spirogyra. Spirogyra is still placed in the kingdom Plantae. However, the Chlamydomonas and Chlorella, these two algae were taken into the new kingdom, which is kingdom Protista. Okay. So now you should not get confused. Both are photosynthetic. Both are able to synthesize their own food. Both are all the three are green. So in the earlier system they were all placed together, but at the level of the cellular organization, Spirogyra is multicellular, while the rest two are not multicellular. That is why they were separated. Okay. So Spirogyra will be studied under the kingdom Plantae when we will go to the next chapter, where we will study about the kingdom Plantae. Okay. So in the kingdom Plantae we will study again these multicellular algae, but all those algae which are the unicellular, they will not be studied under the kingdom Plantae, rather they will be studied under the kingdom Protista. Similarly, the amoeba and paramecium, these are the very famous organisms. I think you have been hearing the name of these organisms right from your early childhood, and you must have seen their photos and figures. So amoeba is also called as immortal organism, right? It never dies. And do any of you remember the structure or shape of the amoeba? How does it move? We will see all those things in the charts when you are there in the classroom. Okay. So amoeba and paramecium, they have the mode of nutrition similar to the animals. That means they have heterotrophic mode of nutrition. They cannot synthesize their own food. However, they are able to move. That means earlier they were placed into the kingdom Animalia, and they are unicellular organisms. Now just because they are unicellular organisms, despite they are sharing so many features with animals, just because of the cellular organization of these organisms, because they are unicellular, the amoeba and paramecium, they were placed into the new kingdom Protista, and they were taken out of the kingdom Animalia. Okay, so don't get confused. Now amoeba and paramecium are no longer animals, rather they are protists. Now Chlamydomonas and Chlorella are no longer plants, they are protists. Spirogyra is still an plant. Okay. So in this way, now you have seen that it is not only the gross morphological feature which decides the categorization of the organism into one of these kingdoms, rather a large number of the characteristics, a large number of the features, including the internal structure, including the cellular level structure, presence or absence of the nucleus, that means the nature of the prokaryotic or eukaryotic, then unicellular or multicellular organization, then presence or absence of the cell wall, then mode of the nutrition, mode of the reproduction, and also the habitat. So all these things are taken into consideration for organizing or for allotting the organisms into one of these kingdoms. Okay. And last but not the least, and very important, the significance of the evolutionary relationships also plays a very important role nowadays. And the evolutionary relationship, also called as phylogenetic relations, they are also considered very important for the biological classification of the organisms. Okay, so we already have seen that if you consider evolutionary relationships into the classification, so science of the taxonomy, if you are considering the evolutionary relationship or phylogenetic relationship also, is then called as systematics. Okay, so now after having the introduction of the five kingdom system of the classification, we will see the table 2.1 of your basic textbook, which is discussing the characteristics of the five kingdom system of the classification. So now let us discuss this table in more detail, and I urge you all to actually note down all these points and to draw this table into your notebook so that you can remember it. So let us here now discuss. Here you can see that the first column is mentioning the characteristics, different kinds of the characteristics, and then you have the five kingdoms: Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. And as you can see that if you consider the cell type, then Monera is having the prokaryotic organization. That means it lacks the nucleus and it is a prokaryote. Rest all the four kingdoms are actually eukaryotic. Okay, so this is a very simple point. This seems very easy here, but my dear, you must remember that these become very important if these things are not learned properly over here. And these are very important things, and these are very often, very frequently asked in the NEET examination. Okay, so don't take these things easy, but take these things sincerely and learn it uh, so that the coming chapters become very easy for you. Now if you consider the cell wall, the Monera has the cell wall, or it may lack also. So cell wall may be present or absent in the kingdom Monera, and the cell wall may be made up of the polysaccharide and some amino acids. Okay, actually for the protists or for the kingdom Protista, cell wall may be present or it may be absent. Okay, so some organisms in the Protista have cell wall, and most of the protists don't have the cell wall. In the fungi, all the fungi have cell wall, but the cell wall is not made up of the cellulose. We have seen that fungi have the cell wall made up of the material which is called as chitin. Okay, all the kingdom all the members of the kingdom Plantae have the cell wall made up of the cellulose, and animals don't have the cell wall. So cell wall is entirely absent in the Animalia. So if an organism does not have cell wall, can you guess which of these kingdoms it might belong to? It might belong to Animalia, it might belong to Protista, it might also belong to Monera. It cannot be a fungi, it cannot be an animal. It cannot be a fungi, it cannot be a Plantae, right? Similarly, presence of the nucleus or nuclear membrane. Okay, so what is nucleus? Nucleus is actually surrounded by the nuclear membrane. So whenever there is a nuclear membrane, that means there is a nucleus present. So nuclear membrane is absent in the Monera because it is a prokaryote. Okay, and all the eukaryotes have the nuclear membrane or nucleus present in them. So the Monera is prokaryotic. Rest four kingdoms are eukaryotic. Similarly, Monera is not having the nuclear membrane. The nucleus is absent in the Monera. Rest four kingdoms have the nuclear membrane present and they have the nucleus. In the body organization, Monera has the cellular structure. So as we have seen in the salient features of the living organisms, that the cellular organization is the defining feature of the living organisms. That means all the organisms will have the cellular organization, right? So all the kingdoms will have the cellular organization. However, protists are unicellular, they have the single celled. Monera also have the cellular organization. Okay, usually they are also unicellular only. Sometimes they may be present in groups. That means they have the cell, they may have cell aggregates kinds of the, but they will not have the proper tissue structure. Fungi also has the multicellular structure, or they may have the loose tissue structure, but they will not have the proper complex tissue level organization, but they will have the loose tissue, they may have the multicellular structure. Some fungi also have the unicellular organization. However, the plants have a proper tissue level of the structure and they have the organs also. So like roots are the organs, right? So animals have the tissue level of the structure, organ and organ system of the structure, which we will be discussing in much detail in the coming chapters. In the last here it has been given the mode of nutrition. So Monera may have any kind of the mode of nutrition. That means it may be autotrophic or it may be heterotrophic. Autotrophic means it can synthesize its own food. It can synthesize its own food by photosynthesis, or it can synthesize its own food by chemosynthesis. So photosynthesis and chemosynthesis, these are two modes of the autotrophic nutrition. Similarly, heterotrophic mode of nutrition means it cannot synthesize its own food. Okay, so that means if it cannot synthesize its own food, what it has to do? It has to get its food from outside. So it can be a saprophyte. That means it can live on dead and decaying matter and decomposing matter. That means it can act as a decomposer. So it can be a saprophyte, it can be a parasite, and kingdom protist can be autotrophic or heterotrophic. Okay, that means it also can perform a photosynthesis, or it can be a saprophyte or parasite. However, protists are not chemosynthetic. So Monera are the unique organisms which are the chemosynthetic. Rest other kingdoms don't have the chemosynthesis. Okay. Fungi are having heterotrophic mode of nutrition. They are saprophytic, that means decomposers, and they are parasitic. Not always. Okay. Plants always are autotrophic, that means they perform the photosynthesis, except कस्क्यूटा, you all know right, अमर बेल जिसको बोलते हैं. तो कस्क्यूटा प्लांट होता है, पीला पीला पेड़ के ऊपर चढ़ जाता है और वो फोटोसिंथेसिस नहीं करता है, रादर दूसरे प्लांट के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है, एक प्लांट पैरासाइट है. बट हाउएवर द प्लांट्स आर द ऑटोट्रॉफिक. कस्क्यूटा इज नॉट ऑटोट्रॉफिक, स्टिल इट इज इंक्लूडेड इन द किंगडम प्लांटी, reason being the evolutionary relationship. Actually, later on in the evolution, somehow it lost the ability to synthesize the its own food. However, it can synthesize very little bit of the food because of the yellow pigments which is present in its body. Most of the food is taken as a parasite. Okay, but that is exception. Then kingdom Animalia actually has heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Animals can never synthesize their own food, and they are having the holozoic or saprophytic mode of nutrition. Holozoic means some particles are taken inside into the cells, and saprophytic means they live on dead and decaying matter. They are actually the decomposers. Okay, so that means the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. They cannot synthesize their own food, they have to take their food from the outside. So now here we have discussed this table in a very great detail, and I hope that you all have understood this table. And if you have any doubt, feel free to get back to me, and you must actually understand each of these terms. If you feel any difficulty in any of these terms, be it nuclear membrane or chemosynthesis, anything, then just message me and get clarification. Don't carry any doubts further, because otherwise you will stop the proper understanding. Your understanding will slow down and it will affect your learning. Okay, so now we have discussed the two kingdom system, we have discussed the five kingdom system of the classification. We have discussed the different characteristics of the Monera, fungi, protista, plantae and Animalia. We have seen different animals or different organisms which were earlier placed in one group, later on they were placed into some other group. Okay, so this system has kept evolving, and because this system has kept on changing, First two kingdom system came, then again three kingdom system came, finally five kingdom system is the most accepted system till now. But as we will study later on that even this system had some lacunae, so another three domain system of classification was proposed, okay, which provides another level of the hierarchy, and all the organisms were divided into three domains of life, okay. So those things we will study subsequently later on. Let us not get confused over here. Now we have completed the introduction portion of the biological classification chapter, and in the next lecture we will discuss uh, these five kingdoms one by one, okay. So we will discuss the kingdom Monera in the next lecture. So till then, take care and don't forget to note important points and keep revising your previous lectures, okay. Thank you, take care, bye bye.